All right. Namaste. Welcome. And by popular request, we're going to do the gentle yoga today, trying to work our whole body. And we're going to start by taking a very deep breath in. Fully exhale. Feel your shoulders coming down on the exhale. Take another couple deep breaths. And just enjoy the stillness for a moment. And then we're going to put our palms in front of us and gently start leaning forward. Don't go too far. Go wherever it feels comfortable. Our job right now is not to reach far, it's to go down, giving our back a gentle stretch. And we're going to take some long breaths here, feeling our body going down with gravity. Feeling our shoulders relaxing. If you want to deepen the stretch for some reason, you can put your head in between your shoulders, but you don't have to. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then try to come up. Back to the upright position. Stay super still here for a moment. And then we're gonna give our back a gentle back bend by putting the palms of our hands behind us. And if you want to, you can lift your buttocks up from the mat, but you don't have to. You can just look up and stay here as well for a couple of breaths. Before coming back to the upright position, let's see if we can give our back a gentle side bend here. We're gonna lean to the side, hug our knee. And we're just gonna try and gently lower ourselves towards that knee. And spend some breaths here as well. If you're counting your breaths, try to do at least 5 in each pose. But you don't have to. And instead of coming out of this pose, we're just going to keep the hand on the side of our bend where it is. We're going to lift the opposite hand and try to stretch gently over our head. And stay here as well for some breaths. I'm doing 5 in each pose today. You pick your number. And we're gonna come back to the center. Do this on the other side. Gently lean toward the opposite knee. Hug it. And just stay here for several breaths. And after that, we're going to keep the hand that's on the side of the bend where it is and stretch the opposite arm over our head, hang down low, spend some breaths here as well. And after we're done here, we're going to come back upright. And we're going to start getting into the staff pose with our legs straight in front of us. Dig your heels into the ground for a little bit. And then, because we don't want to overstrain anything today, what we're going to do, we're going to put our hands on the mat, palms down. So your fingers will be somewhere around your knee area. And we're just going to come down into a forward bend from here without putting much strain on our back that is required if we were to stretch forward. Just hang down here for at least 5 breaths. And we're going to come up back to the staff pose. Put our hands behind us, fingers facing backward. And here you have 2 options. You can either give your spine a gentle back bend by just looking up again. Or if you're feeling more adventurous, you can lift your pelvis off the mat here into the plank. You don't have to. Do whatever feels comfortable. I'm going to get my bum back on the ground. Just look up. And then once I'm done with my breaths, I'm just going to come back to the center. Take a very deep breath here and bend one of my legs. Dig my heel into my groin, keeping my other leg straight. And here, I'm going to make sure that my torso is facing in between my legs. And I'm going to get down on my forearms. If it feels uncomfortable to get down on your forearms, you can just bend your arms and support yourself with your hands. We're going to spend some time in this pose, feeling our straight leg opening up. And getting back up, we're going to turn our torso toward our straight leg. And again, if you want a deep stretch, you would want to reach further. If you don't, which we don't today, you can just put your arms parallel to your leg, palms down, and try to get down on your forearms here without reaching forward, which again will give you a much gentler stretch than any kind of a forward reach. Just breathe here. Before coming back up. And from here, we're just gonna start turning our torso toward our bent leg. And for those days when you have back pain, you don't want the pigeon pose. You do want some good stretch for your legs, so we're going to do the modified pigeon. We're just going to stay on our bent hip, and we're going to try and straighten our straight leg as much as possible. If you'd like to turn the torso, you could, but you don't have to. So far, we're just making sure that our straight leg is straight. And after that, in order to deepen the pose, you can again hug your bent knee and stay there for several breaths. And after we're done with our breaths here, we're gonna lift. Make sure that we're supported by our hands. And then we're gonna start walking our hands to the front and to the sides so that we can rest our chest on that bent knee. And from here, we're going to just hang our head low and stay there for several breaths as well. We're going to feel our back on the side of our straight leg getting longer as our hands slide more and more forward under gravity here. And after that, do not get up abruptly. Just start walking your hands back before lifting yourself back on your palms. And now we're going to do everything that we just did on the other side. We're going to straighten our bent leg and bend our straight leg. Dig the heel into the groin. Make sure that we're on our sitting bones here. And get down on our forearms in between our legs for several breaths. Feel your head hanging lower as you breathe. Try to consciously relax your shoulders here. Just feel your whole upper body sinking down. Before coming up, spending a breath here and turning our torso toward our straight leg. Putting our arms parallel to that leg, palms down. And again, we're not going to reach far today. We're just trying to hang low. Take some breaths here. And we're going to come up and start moving our straight leg behind us in order to get into the modified pigeon. Spend as much time as you need to fully straighten it. And after you're all nice and comfy here, we can go down, hug our bent knee, and just spend some breaths here. Feeling our bent hip opening. Feeling our straight knee opening. And after you're done with your breaths here, come back to your palms. And then we're going to start walking our palms to the front and to the sides so that we can rest our chest on our bent knee. Feel free to shift and shuffle for however long you need just to get into the comfortable position. And again, we're going to pay attention to the side of our back. That's the same side as your straight leg. And feel it gently lengthening. Before coming back up. And from here, we're going to start bending our straight leg to come to our hands and knees first. And then to plop our bum back onto our heels to sit in the rock pose. We're going to take a very deep breath here. Fully exhale. Make sure that our knees are comfortable. That probably would mean that you spread them slightly apart. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hands slightly behind myself, fingers facing forward. And then I'm going to lift my knees off the mat. I can do a rocking motion here, or I can just lift and hold. Whatever feels comfortable. We do need to stretch your ankles a little bit. If you feel like you want to add some balance element to the pose, you can just stop supporting yourself with your hands. Put them where they don't interfere with your balance. And just float over the mat. But you don't have to. And once you feel a nice stretch in your ankles, we're going to put our hands slightly behind us. Fingers facing forward. And here, instead of going into the reclined hero today, we're just going to lift our face to the sky. Try to lean back for however far is comfortable. And take some breaths here. And once you're done with your breaths, gently come up. And we're going to swing our body forward and come to our hands and knees. We're going to shift and shuffle around in order to find a comfortable position for both of our hands and our knees. And what we're going to do now, we're going to try and sway back so that our bum is as close to our heels as possible. We're going to get into the child pose here. Spend a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to lift back into our hands and knees pose and swing our body forward. And we're going to keep doing that at your own pace to add some dynamic element to the stretch. In this very soothing rocking motion. And I'm going to do a couple more. Before coming back to my hands and knees, I'm going to check my posture for stability. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to make sure that I'm super well supported by my palms. And I'm going to lift my left knee and try to straighten my leg in the air. Now, if you want to deepen the stretch, you would get down on your forearms and try to lift your leg as high as you can. But if you are just looking for a gentle stretch, just keep it straight and lift it. We're going to hold it. And on the way back, we're going to try and pull it as close to the chest as we can. Again, don't strain. It doesn't need to be at your chest. We're going to hold it there as well. And we're going to put that knee back onto the mat and do it on the other side. Lift, straighten, and hold for however many breaths you're doing today. And from there on, we're going to move our knee forward and try to pull it as close to the chest as we comfortably can. If you want to deepen the stretch, you would also nod in order to get your head as close to your knee as possible, but you don't have to. And once you're done with your breaths, we're going to come back to your hands and knees. And from here, because your arms are probably tired right now, we're going to swing our buttocks back and take a couple of restful breaths in the child pose again. And we're going to come back to our hands and knees. Dig our heels, our toes into the ground. And from here, we're going to try and gently get up. You don't need to go into the down dog, but you could. And we would walk our hands back toward our toes so that we can get into the vertical position on the mat. Take all the time you need to to be comfortable here, because you need the time for your blood to return back from your head to the rest of your body. Take a couple of breaths here. Just feel the cool air on your fingers, on your toes, on your face. And from here, we're going to see if our feet are shoulder width apart. If they're not, we are going to put them shoulder width apart. And first off, let's figure out how well our knees work today. So we're going to give it a couple of trial bends here. If you need to adjust the position of your feet to make yourself more comfortable, do it as you're doing your trial sits. And once you feel that your knees are all warmed up, we're going to put our hands onto our sacrum and sit down and look up. Notice how straight your spine feels right now. Stay there for a couple more breaths. And get up. Shake your wrists if you need to. And start spreading your feet wider apart. Find a comfortable position. Make sure that your toes are not facing forward. And from here, we're just going to lunge sideways to the other side. We're going to give it a couple of trial lunges, just so we feel that our knees and our hips are all ready. And from here, once you feel that you're stable and ready, we're going to make the side lunge and then bend gently to hug our knee from behind. If your back protests, don't hug your knee, just lean toward that knee with your arms hanging down. And we're gonna hold this. I'm gonna go back to hugging my knee. Couple more breaths here. We're gonna come back straight and come to the other side. Make your lunge and then either hug or just lean toward the knee with your arms hanging down. Whatever feels comfortable. And we're gonna come back to the center. And in the center, we're going to start putting our feet back together. Make sure that we're stable here. So feel free to have them wider if keeping them close together does not work. And from here, we're just gonna try and get on our tippy toes first. And come down. And come back up. And once you feel that your body is stable in this balancing pose, as you're doing this, you can find a good position for your hands. Keep them on the waist. keep them to the sides, however is easier. But once we found the balance, we're going to interlace our fingers in front of us, palms facing toward the body, and we're going to lift and stretch up. Don't stretch too far, just feel whatever is comfortable and go there. And we're going to hold for several breaths. And come down with a sigh of relief. Take another breath. And we're going to bend our elbows. Make our arms like this. Hands in a loose fist. And from this position, we're going to try and put our shoulders as close together, moving forward as we can. And we will start leaning very gently forward, keeping our shoulders all hunched. Don't lean too much. Just want to stretch your shoulder girdle here. Couple more breaths. And we can come up. And let's give our shoulders some backward motion. Grab your wrists behind your back or interlace your fingers, however is comfortable. And from here, we're going to open our shoulders, putting our shoulder blades close together. And again, we're going to look up, the opposite of the motion that we just did. Let's take some breaths here and let go of our wrists. Take another breath. And we're going to get our arms up, palms facing forward. And we're going to extend our neck in between our arms. Hold it there. And then we're going to pull our neck to the back and look at our fingers as they face up. Hold it there as well. Let your arms drop just to give them some rest. Feel the nice tingling as the blood returns into your fingertips. And we're going to lift our arms up again, but now we're going to put the palms of our hands together, finger to finger. And from here, we're going to check the position of our feet for stability and lean gently sideways to stretch the whole side of the body. Don't lean too much. If it feels uncomfortable, just come a little bit more up. We're going to hold it there. Come back to the center and do it on the other side. Come back to the center. And we're going to let our arms drop. Put our feet slightly wider, about shoulder width apart. Grab our elbows. And start very gently leaning forward. to come into the ragdoll. Again, you can make your ragdoll super deep, but you don't have to. Just stay there, feeling your body leaning with the gravity. If you start feeling uncomfortable here, just stop being at the mercy of the gravity and start holding the pose wherever feels good. And once you've found your deepest point for today, just stay here for another couple of breaths. Before letting your hands drop. And we're going to be in a bend here. We're going to bend our knees. Come to our Malasana. I'm going to support myself because I'm not feeling confident about my Malasana today. And from Malasana, you can go back onto the mat and do some very, very restorative stretches here. So come down, spend as much time as you need to get comfortable. Make sure that your spine is straight, that both of your shoulder blades are touching the mat, that your buttocks are relatively symmetrical on the mat. And we're going to put both of our feet together. Point our toes and move them together to the left. Don't try to move them too much. Just do whatever feels comfortable. Now we're going to extend our both arms over our head, palms together. And we're going to move those arms to the left as well to do the left banana pose. We're going to spend some breaths here. Giving our whole spine this very unusual curve. Come back to the center with both of our arms and legs. And then do the same thing on the right. First legs, and then arms. So that now you're a right curving banana. Take some breaths here as well. And once you're done, come back to the center. Keeping your toes and your fingers together. We're just going to try and lengthen our arms over your head as much as possible. Stretch your shoulders up. And we're going to try and lengthen your legs as much away from you as possible too, so that you're at least an inch taller. Point our toes and breathe here as well. And once you're done with your breaths here, stop pointing your toes Relax your calves, relax your hips, and start opening your arms so that they fall to the sides. Palms up or palms down, however feels comfortable. We're going to bend our right knee and swing our right foot over the left knee and turn our torso to the left. Don't get fully on your side, just feel a nice stretch in your lower back. And from here, we're going to turn our head and look right. And we're going to stop holding this pose. We're just going to let our body return itself to the center position. Feel it gently rolling over the mat as you come down to the center. Keep breathing here for another couple of breaths. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side now. Straighten your right leg, bend your left, swing your left foot over your right knee, turn your torso to the right, turn your head to the left, look left, and let your body return you to the center as it will. We're just relaxing around this pose. No need to hold it. And as we come back to the center, we're going to keep our left leg bent. We're going to bend our right leg as well. And from here, we're going to get into a nice, comfy position on the mat. Again, making sure that our shoulder blades both touch the mat. Put our arms parallel to our body, palms down. We're going to need a lift in a second. And from here, we will lift our pelvis up into the bridge. Now, if your back is hurting today, you don't want to hold the bridge. You want to make it a dynamic bridge. Just lift it slightly and bring it back to the mat. Or if you want to hold the bridge, you most definitely can. You would lift it higher. You can even interlace your fingers under your buttocks to give yourself more support. But if you just want to be gentle on yourself today, then stick to the dynamic bridge with the lifts that are not very prominent. And just feel a soothing motion, which doubles as a back massage. I'm going to do 3 more. And I'm going to take a very deep breath here and start putting the soles of my feet together so that I could come to the reclined butterfly. And here we're going to spend longer because we need to give our hips the time to open. Just keep breathing. Feel your knees coming down toward the mat. Feel the nice sensation of warmth in your hip joints. And just relax. Let's do at least 5 more breaths here. I've done mine. So I'm going to start putting my knees back together and putting the soles of my feet back onto the mat with my knees bent. I'm going to recheck my position for stability. If I slid somewhere, I'm just going to realign my back on the mat. And then I'm going to lift my right foot with my knee bent, put my right ankle onto my left knee. And then I'm going to do nothing for several breaths. Feeling my ankle sliding over my left knee. I'm not going to interfere with this process in any way, because that's what's going to allow me to very gently open my right hip. In this very natural gravity-induced motion. I'm going to give it a couple more breaths here. Before switching to the other side, plant my right foot into the mat. Put my left ankle onto my right knee and just let it slide over that knee, opening my left hip. You're probably feeling that this kind of opening motion is very different from the butterfly opening motion. Here your hip goes backward and not to the side. Just notice that. It's not often that your hip gets the chance to move that way. Take a couple more breaths here. And we're going to come back to the mat with our knees bent. And here, we're going to recheck our position for stability. Grab our right knee, pull it toward our chest. If you don't want a big stretch, don't pull too hard. If you do, just try to get it as close to your chest as possible, whatever feels comfortable. And once you find a comfortable pose here, what we're going to do, we're going to lift our head from the mat and try to look at our knee, or get the face as close to the knee as possible. You don't have to. Just do whatever feels right now. And we're going to hold once you've found your comfortable position for several breaths. And let it go down. Do it on the other side. Grab your opposite knee. First, pull it. Find a good position. where your back is not strained, where nothing hurts. And then once you're done finding a good position for your knee, you can lift your head and either look at it, or if you want to deepen the stretch, try to pull your face close to the knee. Take another couple of breaths here. Come down and just rest on the mat for a second, straightening your legs. Take a breath. And from here, we're going to spread our arms apart again. Our palms up or palms down, however feels more comfortable. And then what we're going to do, we're going to roll our neck toward one of the shoulders. Let's say it's the right shoulder right now. We're just going to roll our neck there, maybe even touch our ear on that shoulder. And stay here for a second or for several breaths. And coming back to the center, we're going to roll our neck toward the opposite shoulder. Again, find a very good, very comfortable position there. And hold it for several breaths. And we're going to come back to the center. Put our arms parallel to our body. And here you have a couple of options. Start bending your legs before lifting your feet off the ground. We're going to try and curl into a ball. You can hug your knees if you'd like, making sure that your sacrum is no longer touching the mat, so that your bum is actually floating in the air here. We're going to stay in this very comfortable pose for a couple of breaths, just getting used to our floating sacrum. And from here, you have options. You can go into the full shoulder stand, but you probably don't want to because we're doing a very gentle stretch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hug myself behind my knees and just put my legs up. And I'm going to hold, feeling my sacrum slowly lowering back onto the mat. Feeling my lower back opening up. I'm going to hold it for a couple more breaths. You want to make it harder on yourself. Stop supporting yourself with your hands, but you don't have to again. And after that, we're just going to lower our feet on the mat, straighten our legs. And we're gonna stay in this position with our body straight, our spine as aligned as we can muster. And to finish off, we're gonna do a breathing exercise. You can put your hands on your belly if you'd like. And take a couple of breaths here, feeling our belly coming up with an inhale, coming down with the exhale. And as you focus your attention on the movement of your belly here, notice that your legs are getting more and more relaxed. Notice that your shoulders are getting relaxed. Feel your elbows sliding away from you to the sides over the mat. And now bring back the focus of your attention to your belly. And try to really blow it up, lift it up as much as you can with your breath. Hold it there. Fully exhale. Feel your belly coming down. Hold it there as well. And now I want you to imagine that inside your belly is a big warm ball of any substance you'd like. Some people like something squishy, other people like something hard. The point is to imagine that this is a good substance. It's warm, it's nourishing, it's feeding your body literally and figuratively. And now, as you inhale, feel that substance spreading all over your body from your belly. With every inhale, as your belly moves up, just feel that good, nourishing substance coming into your hips, into your back, into your upper legs, into your chest. Feel more and more of your body being filled with that warm goodness. Feel it spreading over your knees and your clavicles, over your lower legs and your shoulders. Feel it move into your ankles and your feet. Feel it move into your upper arms and into your neck. Feel it move into your lower arms and into your hands. Finally, feel it move into your head. Just get in touch with this feeling of warm goodness spreading all over your body. And try to hold this feeling in the focus of your attention. Let it nourish you as you go into Shavasana. You can just let your hands relax, make yourself comfortable, and carry this warm feeling with you wherever you end up going today.